Hello and welcome to this edition of Minstrels on the Block, where we bring you the finest singer-songwriters in the Valley area. Today's guest we have David Tyler.
Hey Brian, good to see you.
Good to see you, David. Glad to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So tell me about yourself. Where were you born?
I was born in Columbus, Georgia, and somehow or another during the night my parents shipped me over to Alabama. So
nice.
I've been over here ever since, and got a lot of friends and musician friends in Columbus, so I travel the bridge back and forth, but I stay over here.
Cool. What'd your parents do?
My dad worked in the mill. He was from Lower Alabama, and Mom was too, and they come up this way, and that's about it. Just middle of the road, average, hard-working people.
Cool. Now, were they musical?
Neither one of them could turn a radio on. What gift I got was from my granddaddy when I was a young kid playing some harmonica. Cool. And then a few years later I picked up a guitar and learned some chords, and started humming, singing little ballads along with the chords, and for long I had a little four-piece band.
Cool.
So just kind of gift from the Lord. Now,
what did your grandfather do? Did he play regular, or did he just play around the house?
The best I know, he sat around the house just blowing old gospel songs on the harmonica, and his brothers were from down around Troy, and they played fiddles and guitars, and like the real old days, they had little house bands and stuff like that. But as far as I know, Grandpa just played the harmonica.
Okay. Like my dad, he used to sit around and just strum a guitar. I don't even think he actually really played it.
Yeah, but it sounded good at the time.
Oh yeah, I knew nothing. I was like, hey, that sounds kind of cool. Now, tell me about what clicked in your mind, when it clicked in your mind that you might be interested in playing music.
Ooh, it's been so long. I can't remember when I hadn't played music. It's been so long, but I've had so much fun doing it, and met a lot of people, fortunate enough to make a little money here and there, not a lot, but just to keep me going, and it just fun by the year. As the years go by, just gets more fun now today than just the bad part about it's having to move equipment a lot. But,
yeah, the not fun part.
But once you get it set up, good to go, and get your $1 or $2 and go home. So
cool.
It's great. I love it.
Now, once you get the four-piece band together, kind of tell me about what experiences you had with that.
With the four-piece band? My first band was called the Mallards, and this was back in the 60s, this long ago, when the Beach Boys and the Beatles were just hitting around. So we did a lot of those old cover tunes, and at one point we didn't even have a bass player.
Nice.
Had 2 rhythms and a lead, and it didn't sound real good. But we had a good drummer. We thought we were all right, but we were pretty rough. But it was a learning process, and then we got on up to a little higher with the bass players, and I've played with some horns. And I work now with a fellow from Columbus named Michael Skipper. Mm-hmm. And we've been doing a duo for 17 years, and we're blessed to play a lot of gigs that a lot of people that like to dance, they learn the ballroom stuff, but we play the old tunes, so the ballroom don't mean exactly like you're bored with Lawrence Welk all night long. It's the 60s and 50s and 70s music we move up, and
cool.
So me and Michael, we're blessed to keep a pretty good steady line of customers coming in, and
that's excellent.
So I do a lot of cover tunes with them. But I've just been writing the last 15 years. Write some gospel music and some country songs. So
cool.
So
tell me a little bit about your progress as far as you had the Malibus,
right,
and you had 2 guitars, and then you eventually added a bass player. Kind of tell me where you went from there.
Personally?
Well, musically.
Musically? Yeah. That's hard to say. It's been a long time. Just played gigs every so often, and formed the Good Times band back in the early 70s, a 5-piece band out of Columbus. We had a horn. Did a lot of the beach soul music.
Cool.
So we did the country clubs and stuff like that, and private parties. Played variety type music. We could go back and do some of the old Glenn Miller stuff with the horns.
Nice.
And move all the way up to temps and 4 tops and tams. So I've covered it, been there, done that, just not at the big level.
Yeah.
But I don't look to do that, but I'm having a good time with it. So
cool. What was your first guitar?
It could have been a Hagstrom or a Fender.
Nice.
Yeah, it was one or the other. I've had a lot of guitars. I've had a lot of them. I wish I could bring back some big Les Pauls and a bunch of old Telecasters. I work a Telecaster now on my electric gigs, Taylor on my acoustic stuff. But and I dabble with some bass. I just sold my Fender Jazz bass. I learned the bass at my church.
Oh, cool.
And I got tired of looking at it standing in the stand, and the lady on the piano was just getting it, the drummer was just getting it. And I said, well, somebody needs to learn 3 chords on this bass. And I finally picked it up back in the 90s and learned some bass runs. And it's really easier to me than playing guitar, the bass. But I sold the bass and just stick to guitars now, a little harmonica.
Tell me a little bit about your education, learning to, like, from picking up the guitar to, like, learning all the covers. Well, how was it? Was it, like, did you have any formal education, or was it just simply
Not
feeling
in
your way
music.
along?
It was just, I've been blessed by the good Lord with a good ear. I got a good ear for, not perfect, but good. Can't read any music. You know, I've played in some churches before and sat in with some orchestras in churches, and the song leader would give me a chart. After the first round of the song, I just moved the chart away and just followed him.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hurt his feelings, but
might as well be giving you hieroglyphics. I'm the same way.
but I'm not a chart. It's got to come from the feeling. And,
Yeah.
not to mess him up or anything. I wouldn't do that. I'd turn down before I'd mess him up. But I don't read any music, or it's all here and just having a good time with it.
Cool. Now, as you were growing up, what kind of music did you listen to? What are some of your influences?
Well, like I said, I've always liked the Buddy Holly rockabilly stuff like that, and a lot of the old country stuff that was popular. I'm a big Merle Haggard fan.
Can't go wrong with Merle.
Merle is good, and I guess Buddy Holly, the Beach Boys. Of course, I don't know a lot of Beach Boys songs, but they were just fun to listen to back in the day.
Yeah.
And of course, some of the Beatles stuff. I like the early Beatles more than I did when they got on up to the early Beatles, when they broke out in the early '60s, '63, when they hit the shores of USA. And of course, I can remember that stuff. But I was just getting into music, just barely getting into it then.
And so you were just getting into music, and you heard the radio and heard them playing, and it just basically set you off.
With all that harmony and everything.
Yeah.
As good as they were on harmony, they could have had one guitar. Just like the Statler brothers. You don't need a lot of instruments to be good. Just got have good harmony and voices, and somebody in key.
Now, I've heard a lot of mention of a certain artist here this morning. One question I like to throw out there, just for the heck of it: Elvis or the Beatles?
Oh man, that'd be tough. Elvis or the Beatles? Split right down the middle. I can't make that call.
Awesome. I'll tell you what. Let's go check out some of David's music. We'll be right back right after this.
Yes, this is a country song I wrote. Title "All She Left Me Was Goodbye." It's a real tear-jerking ballad, but here we go. Please don't tell me not to kiss her tonight. Don't tell me not to cry. And heart, please don't tell me I can't love her. But all that she left me was goodbye. I know one day there'll be another,
For now my heart is really broken, and all I have left her memory. All that she ever really wanted was another teardrop in my eye. Heart, please don't tell me I can't love her, and all that she left me was goodbye. Heart, please don't tell me I can't love her. Oh, all that she left me was goodbye. Good.